Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Xenon ZT, also known as the My Hero What Ifs. And without further ado, play my intro, please. So, we dive into the story straight up. We start 20 years in the future with a man sitting on a throne covered in blood. A man is suited well with a black attire and a cravat at the end of his neck, looking at the horrifying scene of Japan destroyed, everything flipped on its head. The world is in shambles as he is laughing and smiling all the way from ear to ear. This is Izuku Midoriya, or also known as the Black Prince of Darkness of the New Age, the successor of All for One. We jump into his perspective as Deku spoke. Huh, who would have thought that after all these years, this is where I'll end up, huh? World is crazy as he is looking onward as the flames and the smoke coming out of the building as people run everywhere as Japan is no more. As he starts narrating his story to us, as he tells us about 20 years earlier at the beginning of everything. It's my perspective now. The villain Izuku's perspective. I remember the day where everything changed. I was walking home as I got attacked by a sludge villain. As I was fighting and breathing heavily as I tried to get out of the situation, but nothing can work as the sludge is engulfing my lungs, preventing me from even breathing as I fade in and out of consciousness, huh? Can you believe it? Then the shining ray of hope, All Might, came from the sewers and blasted the disgusting creature out of my body as I lay down there, out of consciousness, thinking about what happened until I feel a tap and a slap on my face, waking me up, jolting me from my unconscious state as I get up and look at my idol. It's All Might, as I say, as All Might said, posing and showing off his muscles as he is telling me that if I'm alright. As the words escaped my mouth at that point, I was looking in shock and awe at the man standing right in front of me, my idol, my everything, the one that will give me hope in this hopeless world. As I spoke and told him about myself, my name is Izuku Midoriya. I am born quirkless, but I want to ask you a question, All Might. As All Might said, sure thing. Can I be a hero even though I got no power, no quirk, no nothing? Can I? As the light in my eyes was shining bright as All Might said, I'm sorry, kid. No, you can't. Especially in this day and age, quirks are everything for a hero. As I looked at All Might with pleading eyes, as I was begging with my look to him, as I can see him cringe at my reaction towards his words, as All Might started coughing right next to me and he said his goodbyes as he was jumping away. I lashed onto his leg like a parasite latching for the nutrients in the body of another. As All Might tried to shove me and push me away from his leg, I yelled, if I fall from this high place, I will die. As All Might thought to himself, oh yeah, he's quirkless. As we landed on top of a building, I asked him once again, All Might, can I? As All Might exploded at me for my reckless behavior as I jumped into him. As I begged him, All Might, can I? Can I turn into a hero even though I'm powerless? As All Might reassured me once again that that will be impossible. But if I want to help people, I could be a medic on the field or a policeman or even a detective. Even people like that are helpful to this society nowadays. Even though their work does not shine in the light, they are doing heroic stuff. As All Might ran out of the building, As I was sitting up there thinking that I guess this is it. Bakugo's warning about turning into a hero were right, huh? Him telling me all that he was right at the end. Damn. As I walked out of the building, I heard explosions in a different direction as I looked up, but I thought to myself, what's the point anymore? As I started walking, but my body took me to the incident's place as I looked on into the heroes who were not doing anything, just observing the situation and talking among themselves, waiting for a hero with a proper quirk to deal with the situation. I look on in horror around the civilians around me, panicking as they look in, and then you can hear one of the civilians say, "He got a kid as a hostage." As I picked my eyes up and looked towards the villain, I can clearly see a spiky blonde haired kid fighting and begging for his life as he releases explosions after another, trying to get away from the villain. As I looked on into his eyes, something inside me snapped as I ran. I ran like never before. I ran towards him, not hearing the heroes screaming or trying to stop me. As I ran as fast as I can, as I thought about solutions, as the thoughts inside my mind started racing one after another on how to defuse the situation. I grabbed my backpack and I threw it into the villain's eye, as all the notes I'd taken over the years gave me an advantage against him. As I threw it, the villain flinched, releasing his grasp on Bakugo as I tried to take some of the sludge away from Bakugo, as Bakugo was yelling at me, cursing at me for trying to help him, even though I'm quirkless, I'm a nobody. But at that moment, I responded, "I couldn't let you die. Your eyes told me you needed help." As my eyes filled with tears as I was begging for this to end, as the villain grabbed his hand and he was coming crashing towards me, as the symbol of peace jumped in front of me, as he grabbed my hand in Bakugo's hand as he ripped it away, ripping us both from the villain, as he released a Detroit smash, taking the villain out, changing the weathers, as the civilians around us looked at him with awe. As I continued looking at the situation, flabbergasted at the strength of this one human, the strength that can change the world. As I looked on, and then it came as the other heroes were praising Bakugo for his attempts at resisting the villains. I was I was yelled at. I was patronized. I was talked down to because my actions were reckless. As I looked towards the other heroes, as I gave them a look of disgust, as they did nothing to help except All Might. But All Might did not even look at me this time. As I was released by the heroes in Bakugo as well, we went our separate ways until I can hear screaming from behind me as Bakugo came towards me and said, "Don't think that this changed everything," he said. As I looked at him and said, "You're welcome," knowing that that was his way of saying thank you. As I continued walking, a huge figure came from the corner of my eye and landed right in front of me. As I looked towards the hero right in front of me, it was All Might once again. As I was thinking that he was about to praise me or say some good words towards me, but all I can hear is the rage and venom seething from his words as he yelled at me for my reckless decision, that the situation was under control according to the protocol of the Hero Commission. As I was yelled at, patronized, and looked down upon by my idol All Might, as he inflated to his small might form. As I looked at him and I tried to come up with answer, as I said, my body just wait moved on its own. Oh my, I'm sorry, I didn't know. As he said, "You could have died. Do you know that? You could have died and you could have caused the life of the civilian around you, the boy that you tried to save, Don't ever do that again, as I tried to plead towards him, as All Might looked at me as he turned his back towards me and walked away, as the tears flowed through my eyes, as I thought about the future, as I thought about the words of everybody that ever doubted me, and I said in a low voice, they were right, as my dream came down crashing right in front of me. But I still got hope that I can turn into a detective, a policeman, or even a paramedic in the field of heroism. But I continued on dreaming. As I reached home, I got greeted by my mother's sweet smile as I gave her a fake smile as I continued my days onward. Months passed as I handed the teachers my resume as I applied to other departments of detective work and police work, but nothing worked. After several weeks, I was given my answer, all refused, as the counselor started to try to help me by talking to me. I was totally in darkness as my mind shut down, as all the doors right in front of me shut down, as I started falling to despair, as I cursed this world, this accursed world I was born into, powerless. As the days passed, I was sitting with my mother at a dinner table, creating small talks as the TV roared behind us, as an interview with one of this hero commission, the hero committee, and a reporter were talking. As to my shock and horror, they were talking about my incident, me trying to help Bakugo. As the reporter asked, what do you think about the kid that tried to jump to help another person? As the hero commission started, that was foolish of him. He obstructed the justice system. As he went on me, as he yelled, as he did everything, as he spoke, he obstructed justice. Have you ever thought about the civilians around you? Have you thought about the safety of the boy you tried to save? You could have caused lots of lives that day. Do you know what you did? As I felt him talking toward directly to me, as to my horror and my mother's horror, my name came up as they started talking about another incident years before, as they talked about a civilian trying to help another but caused him severe injuries, as the reporter did his work, as he brought up the fact that I tried to apply to security and police work and detective work jobs, as the safety commission stopped the reporter as he said, why don't we interview one of the heroes on the scene? We got footage of that, as the heroes known as Death Arm, Mount Lady in Kamui Woods started talking, as Death Arm was first, as he berated me for my action, as he said we did not need more work because of you. We did not want anyone getting harmed, as he said, don't ever do that again. We don't want any civilian trying to be heroic. If you don't got a license, don't. As Mount Lady said, we had the situation under control. We were monitoring the situation, trying to come up with a better solution. As Kamui Woods said, I respect the way he acted in his bravery, but that was foolish out of him, especially knowing that he was quirkless, that could have led to his death or the downfall of the people around him. As my face turned pale as I looked towards my mother, full of hope, but now it was dark. She looked in horror towards me as her baby boy was berated on live TV towards the people. As I continued my days, the bullying gotten worse as they found out my address, as I read article after article on the internet, as my home was spray painted by the words I can be a hero jokingly, as the world around me shut down, as Every department of security refused my job application as the world turned darkness, and the stress ate at my mother, ate her soul as it destroyed her from inside and outside as she gained weight. And day after day, I can feel her life slipping away from her until one day I woke up from sleep to find a note under my door. As I opened it, to my horror, I sprinted out of my room to find my mother's face. My mother's face showing such a warm smile, but all I can see is the husk of her body as the light was out of her eyes. As I thought to myself, why, Mom? Why did you go and leave me? Why? As I read the letter and read, I'm sorry, Izuku. I'm sorry, those words I heard before as they rang in my ear, as the darkness engulfed my heart, as I was thinking about what to do now, as I called the paramedics as they came to my house and gave me a pity look, as they pitied my existence, as they all the people now know who I am, especially with my mother, as everything went dark and grim to me. Days passed as people tried to console me in my school, in my life, but nothing worked. As my mother's death was blasted on TV outlets and news outlets, as they even couldn't respect her in her death, and that ate at me like a monster that cannot be fed. I thought about solutions. I thought about ways to get out of this situation. Maybe it was a dark dream that I could never get off. I thought to myself as the words of Bakugo rang in my head. Maybe in your next life you will develop a quirk and you can make your dream come true. As I walked down the streets, as I spotted the longest building there, as I claimed, as I walked one step forward, I can feel my body walking backwards, 2 steps at a time. I was pushing forward until I reached the roof. I sat down, looking at the world right in front of me, at Japan, the beautiful lights, everything, the buildings, the huge skyscrapers right next to me as I jumped on the ledge, looking downward, as I broke down crying, cursing at this world. Damn you all, I can't even have a dream. Damn you, it took everything from me. As I cursed the people, I cursed the world, I cursed everything around me. As I was screaming and bawling my eyes out, praying that somebody can hear me. As I was being eaten from the inside out as I grabbed my hair, trying to pull it apart, thinking and contemplating as I was about to take one step out of the ledge. A dark, grim voice answered from behind. Poor you. This society took everything from you, and you are about to take the hope out of yourself, huh? Is that it? Is that the way you're gonna let this world, this society, this rotten place treat you? As I looked towards that person I couldn't see, but he was well dressed. I couldn't see his face as I looked and cursed at the existence of this hero society with him, as I told him that this world is full of fakes running for running for fame, craving for it, forgetting the essence of heroism. As I screamed down until my voice was raspy and felt like knives. I was swallowing knives and needles, but the the person smiled at me as half his face as a bright smile came to him. Then come with me. Come with me and I will give you the power to change this world. As all his face deformed and had a respiratory helper around his neck. As I looked on to him, my life was over. That's what I thought at the moment. I was looking for someone to give me a helping hand, but the only one I can find is his. As he gave his hand towards me, all I can do is take it. I am yours. As the person introduced himself as All for One, my days were numbered as I continued. He trained me. He gave me everything I wanted. He blessed me with quirks. He gave me the power to change my existence. His training was gruesome, grueling. It ripped my skin off every time I trained with him, but I was good at it. I did what I wanted. I was about to crush this world under the heel of my boot. That is who I am now. Izuku Midoriya no more. We jump now into the perspective of another person. As All Might was watching the news in horror at what the commission did to this boy, even though his actions were reckless, he did the right thing. But but why? Why did the commission treat him this harshly? They crushed his future, crushed his life, his dreams. As All Might went to the Safety Commission's bureau, as he entered and met the commission's president, as he looked towards him. What did you do? As he roared towards him. And the Safety Commission told to him, we did all this because of you, All Might. We know your situation. You're not the person who used to go willy-nilly saving everybody around you. Now you have a limit, and that boy reduced that limit. Am I right? As All Might looked towards the Safety Commission president, as he looked at him. But why? You crushed his dreams, you crushed his future. Nobody's gonna take him in anymore, as the Safety Commission said. Have you ever heard about the test that you have 5 people on a track rail, and the other rail you have one? You are the driver of the train. What would you choose? As All Might said, nothing, as he looked at in horror at the Safety Commission. We chose to flip the switch on the other lane and take one life instead of millions. If that's what you want to hear. You were the symbol of peace, and you will be the symbol of peace and continue to be. That was our decision, and our decision is right, don't you think? As All Might thought to himself in horror, but I could never look back towards that kid. He was done for. We crushed him. We, the Hero Society, took everything from a helpless, powerless boy. May God be with us. As the training in parallel, the training in UA entrance exam went on the same, but in this one time, though Uchaku's legs were crushed by the zero pointer, taking her ability to continue to be a hero. As the world changed and morphed to this horrible, gruesome reality that we were living in, as 2 students from 1B jumped towards 1A, as one of the students from the social studies jumped to 1B. As the year continued like that, the months continued, Bakugo continued being who he is, and the story will continue in the next part of What If Deku Was a Villain Redo. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe. I wish this What If will do good, because I took the point of view of characters. I didn't create a story. The point of view, the story will be told on the point, with the point of view of each character, like All Might, Izuku, Bakugo, and everyone. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see part 2, you know what to do. Drop a like, comment down below, and smash that notification bell for everything new from me. And I hope you have a blissful day and stay safe, you guys. And I love y'all. It's been your boy Xenon ZT, my hero, whatever as well. And I'll see you in the next episode.